All right, welcome back, Remodelites. Dave with Remodel Media, and in this, I'll be covering the best strategies for a successful house flip. Thanks for joining us. If this is your first time with us, uh, my name is Dave, and this channel is all about helping people execute a remodel better with better strategies, better information, better products, and my goal is to eliminate regret. I want to make sure that my customers and uh, you are completely regret free. And um, oh, somebody's joining the chat there. All right. So, um, without any further ado, let's get into the 4 key strategies of a successful remodel. So, the first thing that I recommend to anybody who's doing a remodel is rule number 1, strategy number 1. This is not your house. If you are flipping, then this is not your house. You're not designing it for you. And this strategy holds true whether this is the house you live in now and you're remodeling, designing it to sell, or it also holds true if you are a first time flipper, you're just purchasing a house with the intention of flipping. The rules are the same. It's not your house. You want this house to appeal to the widest market possible. There is a reason that when you're selling your home, realtors will tell you to remove anything personal, family photos, keep it as blank as possible so that the person who walks through that door, the potential buyer, uh, they want to imagine themselves in this house. They don't want to imagine that there's another family that already lives there. So you're going to remove family photos, things of that nature. And is this glare okay for you guys? I'm using some natural window light here, so hopefully that does okay. Anyhow, so yeah, make sure that you understand that this is not your house. This is uh, this is a house that you are designing an accent wall. Just understand that not everybody likes bright red. I think it looks cool, but I had a realtor friend make the comment to me one time that she just could not believe that every house that she showed, uh, they did not believe that that was a helpful strategy when selling the home. So that's rule number 1: is remember that it is not your house. Rule number 2, or strategy number 2, is knowing when to use name brands, but also when not to. Uh, what I tell everybody, piece of advice that I give to everybody is, I don't know a whole lot about real estate. My specialty is in home remodels and things like that. But I do know how people are. I do know how people shop. I know that people will shop, uh, and it usually goes something like this. The husband and wife will go out and they're going to come home and they're not going to say, "Hey, honey, remember the house on Third Avenue?" No, they're going to say, "Hey, honey, remember the house with that really great outdoor kitchen with the big barbecue, with the big swimming pool, with the big, spa bathroom, whatever." So they're not necessarily going to zero in on, do you remember the house with the Kohler fixtures? That's something I might zero in on, but I'm probably a 1 in 20, 1 in 30 type of individual. There's not a lot of homeowners that are going to zero in on the brand of fixtures that you have in there. So be open to, as long as you're putting in a quality piece, something that doesn't make the house appear cheap, then it doesn't necessarily have to be a name brand. I just had a client send me a list full of all these ultra high end Kohler fixtures, and they're doing a house flip. And the biggest thing that I was able to literally cut their budget almost in half by about 40%. And I did that by eliminating a lot of the Kohler fixtures and bringing in a brand called Hunt, but high quality, but not a high end price tag product. They use ceramic disc quarter turn cartridges. They use solid brass faucets. I actually did an episode where I visited the Huntington Brass booth at KBiz earlier this year. I'll go ahead and throw the link up there so you can check it out on the replay. When it comes to name brands on the fixtures, though, there are times when you do want to use a name brand fixture. For example, uh, Toto on the toilets. A lot of people associate Toto toilets with being very expensive. However, they're not necessarily, but they are a good performing toilet, and a lot of people recognize the name. So that's one that might be helpful to put in your house. Something more appropriate is in the kitchen. When you're looking at the appliances, any realtor will tell you that if they can put in the listing that this has a commercial Viking kitchen or a commercial Thermador kitchen uh, with the commercial cooking, that is something you can get a little bit extra out of. So, and the bottom line between something like a KitchenAid and something like a basic Thermador package, I would encourage you to consider going with something of a name brand when you start putting in the appliances for a house flip. But name brand on the cabinets, yeah, as long as they're good quality, the name brand probably does not matter. Name brand on the, like Silestone is a great brand. I actually did an episode with Silestone at KBiz as well. So I'll go ahead and link that up, and you can check that out on the replay. So um, make sure that you know when to use name brands and when not to. Uh, Rule number 3 is consider your demographic. So when you're considering your demographic, uh, what I mean by that is this project that I'm working on right now. It's taking place in Palm Springs. Now, for those of you who don't know, Palm Springs, California, is not entirely, but largely a retirement area. There are a lot of retirees who are buying homes, and it's a more affluent retirement area. Now, knowing that, I looked at this list of fixtures that the customer sent me over that I think his designer, his architect had picked out the fixtures. And I pointed out that these toilets, these Toto toilets that you picked up, are good. They're a decent performing toilet, but why aren't we doing the taller seat for an aging community? It's more of a universal design. Toto calls it universal height, seat height, and things like that. So um, consider the demographic and what goes into the other homes around the area. If you a for example, on the opposite end of the spectrum, if you're doing a flip in a very low end residential area, or just a basic, this house, in some parts of the country might be like 50, 60,000. Thermador and Viking might not be the right move. It might be the right move to go with like a Whirlpool or even a Samsung or something along those lines. And that's okay. That's absolutely fine. Just understand your demographic, understand the area you're talking about, and make sure that you get a good feel for what is going on in your community. So that's rule number 3. Rule number 4 is know where to focus your budget for the best return on investment. There are people that, for whatever reason, they put a lot of time and detail into, for example, an outdoor kitchen is really cool, but in certain parts of the country, it's not exactly relevant. Here in California, I mean, let me put it this way. In California, I have literally on December 24th walked out of my house to the sidewalk, the pavement, and said, and gone to purchase an ice cream from the ice cream man. It's been that warm at times on December 24th, where the rest of the country, they're under 10 feet of snow. So I understand that in California, 360 days out of the year, I can go outside and cook. And so having uh, an outdoor kitchen in California is, especially if you're doing a mid to high end flip, is absolutely essential. In Chicago, it might not be that way. So knowing where to focus your budget for the best return on investments. So honestly, the kitchen and the master bath are always, always, always going to give you the best return on your investment, because the kitchen is the hub, the heart of the home, and the master bath is the retreat. So the hub, the heart of the home, spend a little extra time and even a little extra money making sure it's nice and the space is laid out properly. Make sure the materials are durable because this is a high traffic area. And likewise in the master bath, if you're going to put any kind of splurge features in there, uh, go ahead and put in like a steam shower or some sort of a rain head or something spa-like in the master if you're going to do anything in any of the bathrooms. Then you will get the best return on your investment. So that's tip number 4: is know where to focus your budget for the best ROI. A little bonus tip, and I've mentioned this before in I think it was in a Quick Tip Tuesday episode. Uh, do you need a bathtub in the house? Yes. Does it need to be in the master? Not necessarily. So most realtors will tell you need a bathtub in the house in order to make for a decent resale. Because the number one complaint any realtor is going to get first and foremost is, where am I going to wash the baby? Where's the bathtub? So as long as there's a bathtub in the house, you're doing okay. So that's about it, guys. Thanks for tuning in this week. I know this was a quickie, but I just wanted to get that out there. If there's any questions in the chat, check. I don't see any. So hope you guys had some fun, and I hope you guys learned something. So go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know. Have you ever done a house flip before? Did any of these strategies make sense? And leave a comment down below where you're listening from or where you're watching from. And I will see you guys in the next one.